All right, I'm going to show you how to actually master the charge. So if you've seen any of my other tutorial videos, you know that I always like to start by reading the player guide. However, if we take a look at the player guide for the charge blade, when we go to the weapon properties, it's absolutely redonkulous. There's 57,000 different tabs that you have to read through, so I'm just gonna explain it. So in dumb words, on the top left, right under your sharpness, you see about 4 different icons. On the very right, you see empty shells. We are going to be calling those your files. Next to the shells, we have the axe. Next to the axe, we have the shield. And next to the shield, we have the sword. The charge blade can morph.
With all your training needs.
I was in the middle of talking, Luke. Never do that ever again, you understand? As I was saying, the charge blade can morph from a sword and shield type weapon to an axe type weapon. Whilst you're in your sword and shield mode, you can actually build your files. The more damage you do, the more files you build, starting off with nothing. Okay, they don't have any glow to them. Then moving on to yellow. They're now glowing yellow, and then after yellow, they turn red. Once you have some of your files charged, you can then bank your files, and with your files banked, you have 2 options. You can either expend your files and use them in attacks for extra damage, or you can use these files to then charge your shield, and then also eventually charge your sword. Wait a second, if the shield can be charged, and the sword can be charged, can the axe mode also be charged? Yes, it can. Don't worry, I know it seems like a lot. Listen, the charge blade can be one of the most complicated weapons to learn, but I am going to break it down in a way that is going to be very easy for you guys to follow, and you will learn the charge blade by the end of this video, I promise. This is the order that I'm gonna break down this video. Step number 1, we just need to know how to charge and then bank our files. Step number 2, we then need to know all the different ways to then use those files to charge our sword and our shield. After we know the basics of how to load our files and how to charge our sword and shield, I am then going to show you guys the best combos to use and the combos you guys are going to want to use so that you can do that the fastest and also by dealing out the most damage. After that, I am going to show you guys the different ways to charge your axe. Once we cover all of that, I will then teach you guys the best combo cycles that you can possibly do to deal out the most damage and to absolutely shred monsters in this game. And finally, I will be telling you the best monster to fight to practice with the charge blade, and by the end of this video you will be able to make every monster in this game your bitch. All right, so starting off super simple. To charge your files on the left, you literally just have to do damage while you're in sword and shield mode. It doesn't matter what move you do. As long as you're in sword and shield mode and doing damage, you will be charging those files as you see. Bang. Eventually, I went from absolutely empty to then yellow to then red. There is an optimal way and an optimal combo to use to do it most efficiently, but I will be sharing that in just a second, okay? Now let's talk about how to actually bank our files, how to take that charge and put it into the files so that we can actually use them for later. That is also very, very easy. All you need to do is press right trigger or R2 and B on Xbox or circle on PlayStation at the same time. And when you do that, there it is. They are now banked into your files and you can now use them for what you'd like. Now, as you see right now, all of my files are filled. That's because I was in red. Keep in mind, you actually can bank your files when they're in yellow. If you're in yellow and you bank your files, you just won't get all 5 of the files. You only get 3. Unless you use a specific decoration, which you need to be using if you're at the point and you're at endgame. If you're at endgame at all times, you need to be using the magazine decoration. Where can I find it? Hello? Oh, here it is. A lot of the times you'll have a magazine slash something. It doesn't matter. The only thing that you're looking for is that load shells 2 ability. And what that does, instead of having to be in red to completely fill your files, you only need to be in yellow. However, if you do decide to get all the way to red like I just did, it is not a waste of time, and you should still be going into red, because with the load shells ability, the magazine jewel, when you're in red, it will do something called overload your shells. As you see, the shells look like they're bursting out with energy, and what that will do is when we do use the shells, it is going to have more damage. It's going to give us more damage, but also extend the duration of, like, when we charge our shield and charge our sword, it will extend that duration if we have our shells overcharged. So very, very important skill and completely changes charge blade. All right, so a quick overview. Just doing literally any attack will over time build your files. By pressing right trigger and B if you're on Xbox, or circle if you're on PlayStation, will then load your files, and having the magazine jewel will overcharge your files. Now that we know how to actually build and bank our files, let's learn how to actually use the files by charging our shield and our sword. Let's start with the shield, because you have to start with the shield. In order to charge the sword, your shield has to first be charged. There are 2 ways to charge the shield. The first way is by far the easiest way. As I said, right trigger and B or circle if you're on PlayStation is going to do this animation that will bank your files. Now, after you do that animation, if you then hold B, it will do this shield thrust that is going to then put those files all into your shield. And now you can see that my shield is flashing and it's glowing, and now it is charged. So one more time again, if you do bang, charge your files, instead of just banking, bank and then hold it, and then it will automatically put all of your files into your shield. The second way to do it is a little bit more complicated, but is still useful because it does more damage. All right, so with your files charged, you have this combo that you can do by just spamming Y and B at the same time. Not Y and then B. You click Y and B at the same time 3 times, and you will do this. It's called the amped elemental discharged, but you actually don't want to go into the amped elemental discharge. If you're in sword and shield mode, if you press right trigger, you can block, okay? That's me block. I'm just pressing right trigger. If you kind of interrupt the last YB in that combo strand with the block by pressing right trigger, you are going to go into a different animation that will then charge your shield. It kind of sounds complicated, but let me just show you. So I go YB, 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 and while it's in the middle, while I'm about to let loose, I press right trigger, and that's called an elemental round slash. So right before my amped elemental discharge goes off, I press right trigger to do an elemental round slash, and that's going to put all of my files into my shield. Now, once your shield is charged, you can then charge your sword, and there's only one way, and it's super easy to charge your sword. But also keep in mind, I almost never charge my sword, okay? Just like when we charge our shield by holding B in this animation like that, if instead of holding B, we hold Y, we will get into this animation, and as you see, your sword is now charged. You don't need any files. It's taking the energy from your shield, I guess, and is putting it into your sword. There are a couple things that a charged sword and a charged shield will do. Let's start with the sword because it's the most obvious and the most direct, I guess we could say. Now, if you do your normal attacks while you're on sword and shield, as you can see, it does like an extra elemental attack with it. Another reason that this is good is because, let me actually clear my stats real quick. You can actually overcharge your files, okay? And not in like the good overcharge. As you see right now, this is red. This is great. But if you don't bank it for some reason and you keep attacking, then you see how they're kind of flashing. Red is different. It's also brighter, and like the inside is, it's like the outline of it is red, right? Now all of your attacks will bounce. You can't attack anymore. If for whatever reason you just felt like attacking with like overcharged files, you could charge your sword. And now if you did overcharge, you won't bounce. You will do less damage, but you won't bounce. As you see, I'm not critting. So you should still not do this, but that's just like an extra thing that happens. Also, I believe that you won't bounce in hardened areas of monsters. So if there's like an area of a monster, yeah, that you used to bounce from, like, let me charge this. Yeah, you'll no longer bounce from the like a hardened area. So that's another, I guess, a nice thing. And then the shield, what it does. The main thing, there's another thing. I'm not going to get into it because I don't want to confuse you guys. And it's, to be honest, it's not really that important. The main thing is when you go into your axe mode, by the way, you can go into your X mode by pressing right trigger and Y at the same time. Your axe mode will now do just generally more damage because like the tip of the axe, as you see, is the shield and that's charged. So it's going to do more damage when you're in your axe mode. We haven't talked about axe mode yet, but just know that it's going to be important because you will be doing axe mode a lot. And so you are going to be wanting to charge your shield before you get into axe mode because you'll be doing more damage. All right, so one more last quick overview before we move on. 2 ways to bank Phials into your shield. Pressing right trigger and B if you're on Xbox, and then holding B or circle if you're on PlayStation, or YB, 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 and interrupting the last YB with a right trigger will also bank Phials into your shield. Once your shield is charged, if you do go to bank your Phials again, that animation, but then instead hold Y instead of B, then you will do your sword. Again, Y on Xbox or triangle on PlayStation. All right, so now we know the basics of just how to charge your shield and how to charge your sword. But now let's talk about the best combos to use to not only charge your Phials and bank them, but then also get your shield charged as fast as possible so that you can go ahead and do your big booty damage combos. There are 2 combos, but we'll get there in a minute. The first combo that I want to talk about is if you hold B or circle, you will do this double slash. And after that double slash, you can then do Y on Xbox or triangle on PlayStation, and you will go into the round slash. Okay, so hold B, Y, and then if you hold B again, that will fully put you into red. Let me show you guys. So B, Y, and hold B. Bang. I am now in red. One thing to mention that might happen to you a lot, to take out your weapon, you press Y, right? That will put you in the forward slash move. And then if you try to hold B to do that double slash after that, what it's going to do, if you're holding any directional move, it's going to do this slide attack. And that can be nice if you're trying to do that. Like, let's say, I don't know, you just need to back up for something or you just need to reposition. That movement can be great, right? So if you, after any attack, if you hold a directional key and press B, then you will go into this fade slash and you can kind of slide in any direction, right? However, when you're trying to do that combo to get you into red, it can really mess you up. So make sure you're not holding any directional key. Anyway, so right after you do your combo, so you got your double slash, round slash, double slash, you're instantly going to bank and hold B. You have now charged your shield. Then all you need to do is go back and do your double slash, round slash, double slash, and then bank your Phials, but don't hold B this time. And then you're set. You're pretty much set. That's all you need to do. Again, I almost never charge my sword. All right, so from start to finish, double slash, round slash, double slash, bank and hold, double slash, round slash, double slash, bank. But there's actually another very viable combo that is also what you're going to use for openers. That's part of the combo that you're going to be using for openers. And you can honestly use this if you want to at all times. This is specific if you have the magazine decoration, okay? The magazine jewel. If you have the magazine jewel and you don't really necessarily care about overloading your shells, what you can do is you can just do a basic and you're done. Yes, they're not overloaded, so your element discharges or impact discharges are going to be doing a little bit less damage, and your shield, I think, lasts a little bit shorter. but it's a lot faster, and also probably does save you time, which might be worth it. So keep this in mind, because this combo is going to come up when we talk about the opener to how you want to open fights, okay? So again, one last time, I'm not even going to clear my stats. I did clear the Phials, but just because it's super easy, okay? You're going to do hold B, Y, bank, and hold B to charge your shield, and then hold B, Y, bank. And that's it. And at that point, you have charged your shield and you have filled your Phials. They're not overcharged, but they are filled. All right, so now you know the best combo to get your shield and get your Phials banked, so that you are set up and ready to do. And then from that point, all you need to do is charge your axe. And so let me show you how to charge the axe. And guys, I promise you, charging the axe is thousands of times easier than charging your shield and your sword. There are 2 ways to charge your shield. Both are very, very easy. Way number 1 is all you have to do, if you do one of your, wound attacks with the sword and shield, it will just automatically charge your axe. But as you saw from doing your wound focus finisher, it also just automatically puts you into your axe mode, which is also nice, because then you can just go and start cycling your combos. The second way to charge your axe, and the best way to practice this, is over here. And you don't really need to practice. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, and the window is pretty easy. But as I was saying earlier, when you're in your sword and shield mode, you have, if you press right trigger or hold right trigger, you have this block. And if you block within a certain amount of time of an attack, kind of like a parry, you'll do a perfect block. And if you follow up that perfect block by pressing Y, you will automatically put your axe mode into its charged state. So all you got to do is, when you're about to get hit by an attack, just block, and then there you are, it's charged. Super easy. And as you saw, I didn't have to wait until the last second to block. You have a pretty good amount of wiggle room to get a perfect block off. And yeah. Now, your axe mode is where you are going to live 95% of the time. I spent a lot of time talking about all the other stuff, how to charge your Phials, how to bank them, how to charge your sword, how to charge your shield, how to charge your axe, right? That's just because that's kind of like the complicated part. That's the difficult part of Charge Blade. But I'm gonna be honest, a lot of people are scared of Charge Blade and think that it's a very complicated weapon. But once you get to the point where you're set up and you have your shield charged and your axe charged, and you have Phials ready, I mean, the rest of the fight is super simple. You're mashing 2 buttons. So let's real quick talk about the best combo cycle once you have everything set up. Also, real quick, let's talk about what set up actually looks like. Let's hold on. Let's stop this guy from swinging. So what I mean by set up is you want your shield to be charged. You want to have Phials in your cases banked. And then you also want your axe charged. Okay, so at this point, look at the top left. At this point, you're ready. You're ready to go. And there is really 1 major combo that you're going to be using, maybe 2. Both of them are super easy. Are you ready for this? And the damage on this, by the way, is ridiculous. And also the element, everything about this is just ridiculous. So your first combo, all you're going to be doing is going B, or circle if you're on PlayStation, twice. So B, B, and then Y, or triangle if you're on PlayStation. So B, B, Y. B, B, Y, B, B, Y, B, B, Y, B, B, Y, forever until the monster is dead and stun locked. Okay? So I'm just going B, B, Y. And as you see, this combo isn't using any of our Phial charge. So that's it. Now, that's it, but it's not it. You want to make sure to be holding all of these buttons, because when your axe is charged, it allows you to almost like carve through the monster. Let me show you. If I'm holding B, as you saw, when I just pressed B, it was like a normal attack. I hit it. But if I hold B and Y, this is what happens. I mean, it's insane. And I just banked. So I just ran. The reason it stopped carving is because I just ran out of axe charger. All right, so I got everything set back up. And so that is going to be your major combo. Just hold B, hold B, hold Y. 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 Your other combo that I believe might even do a little bit more damage, but is using resources. And also you just need to make sure you're hitting all of your attacks on a weak spot. So what I suggest you do is I personally never use this combo, but if you do use this combo, wait until the monster is stunned or knocked over or something, okay? And what that's going to be is you're just, instead of doing BBY, you're just going to be spamming B. You're not going to be interrupting it with Y. After your B, you're going to do, after your second B, you're just going to do B again. You're just going to be keep spamming. That's it. Just keep holding and spamming B. And as you see, it is using some element charge, but it's going to be doing more damage, and also I think probably more effect damage as well. So like more stun and more like knock damage. Or impact damage, excuse me. And they're just going to be outputting insane damage and insane status effect, and the monster's just going to die instantly. It's crazy. So now you have everything you need, theoretically, right, to just absolutely slay monsters. So I'm going to show you two things right now. I'm going to show you, one, the best and easiest monster to practice on, because in my opinion, pretty much for any weapon, this is going to be the best monster to practice on, because the attacks and the moves that this monster has are just so animated and drawn out and slow. You can see them from 10,000 million miles away. And then two, I want to show you also two different ways that you can open a fight and how you kind of want to start the fight to get you set up as fast as possible. So first things first, you're going to go to Alma, and then you're going to go down to optional quest. And you're actually going to fight the low-ranked version of this monster first. Get into the feel of things. Yes, you can practice on the dummy in the training as much as you want, but it's not the same. The dummy doesn't move around. The dummy doesn't attack back. I guess you can make it attack back, but it's not the same. And the monster I suggest is going to be the Uth Duna. Okay, do the low-ranked Uth Duna. You are going to absolutely shred this monster with your combos and attacks, but just get into the feel. Really, what you're practicing is getting to the point where you're ready to use your big combo. All right, so as we mentioned earlier in the combo portion of this video, there's a special specific combo that you can use whenever, but especially for the opener, that is not necessarily going to be damage efficient, but is going to be more time efficient, getting you into your charged shield and also full Phials as fast as possible. Now, what we didn't talk about is the second part of the opener combo, and that second part is going to be using the mount system of this game. As you know, and as we said earlier, one way to charge your axe is by doing a wound focus finisher, but you get a free wound focus finisher when you do mount a monster. So we are going to be using that to our advantage. So what you're going to do, you're going to be doing a dismount attack into one double slash. At this point, I'm already at yellow. So I am then just going to bank into my shield. I'm going to do one more double slash and round slash, putting me into yellow again. I'm going to bank that, and now I'm ready. I'm going to, at this point, call my mount, okay? I am going to do another dismount attack. At this point, you are going to mount the monster. It is guaranteed you're mounting the monster. Now I'm just spamming RB, right bumper, and I'm going to do a wound finisher, which will charge my axe. And then at this point, not only is everything set up, but the monster is knocked, and you can then just go ham on the monster with your full, and look, and it's paralyzed. And I bet you, in a second, it's also going to get knocked from our... Yep, and it just got knocked from the impact Phials as well. I mean, this weapon is just absolutely insane. It just keeps the monsters staggered at all times. It's insane what you do with this. And on top of that, like, you see a wound, you can just go for the finisher. It's just absolutely insane. You guys get the point. You just bully monsters with this weapon. You really do. Yeah, I mean, it's just not fair. It really is just not fair. Obviously, this was a low-ranked monster, but regardless, you are stun-locking monsters in this game. All right, if you guys did make it this far and you think that this video helped you out, think about leaving a like on the video. Think about subscribing to the channel. It helps me a lot. And if you are here, you probably also do need a build for your weapon. And if you do need a build, go ahead and click on this video right over here. I give you not one, not two, but 3 builds for the charge blade that build off of one another. And down here is a video where I break down how to use the longsword, one of my favorite weapons in the entire game. Next up, I'm planning on breaking down the gun lance, so stay tuned for that. And other than that, man, I'll see you guys in the next video. Turn the shit off.